Today we're going to uh, read the story of the um what is it? King Midas and the Golden Touch. There lived a king named Midas and his little daughter named Marigold. He was very, very rich. One room of his great castle was almost filled with yellow gold pieces. One day, while he was in his gold room counting his money, a beautiful fairy stood before him. Midas, if I should grant you one wish, said the fairy, what would you ask for? If I could have but one wish, said the king, I would ask that everything I touch should turn to beautiful yellow gold. Your wish shall be granted, said the fairy. The next day, King Midas awoke very early. He was eager to see if the fairy's promise had come true. As soon as the sun arose, he tried the gift by touching the bed lightly with his hand. The bed turned to gold. He touched the chair and table. The king was wild with joy. He ran around the room, touching everything he could see. Everything turned to gold. All was gold, gold, gold. His little daughter came running in from the garden. He touched her with his lips. At once the girl was changed to a golden statue. The king felt bad and wanted his daughter back. "Oh, fairy," he begged, "take away this horrible golden gift. Only give me back. Only give me back. Where is it? Only give me back my little daughter." Do you still think that gold is the greatest thing in the world?" asked the fairy. "No, no," cried the king. "I hate the very sight of the yellow stuff." "Very well," said the fairy. "Take this pitcher to the spring in the garden and fill it with water. Then sprinkle those things which you have touched and turn to gold." The king took the pitcher and sprinkled the liquid on the head of his dear little girl. Instantly, she became his own darling Marigold again, and gave him a kiss. Then he sprinkled on everything, and all turned back. Hi, everyone. So the next story would be um oh, Pied Piper of Hamelin. One day, Pied Piper came to the town of Hamelin. He used to carry a flute along with him. He faced the mayor of Hamelin and said, "It is well known that your town has a problem with rats. I will get rid of all the rats. What would be my reward? What would my reward be?" For a moment, the mayor was stunned. 10,000 gold coins from our treasury if you can do as you promised," said the mayor. Pied Piper nodded his head and said, "It's a deal." Pied Piper walked out in the street, pulled out his flute and started playing it. All of a sudden, thousands of rats came all the way from various directions. They followed the sound that came from the piper's flute. Pied Piper headed towards the sea, with all the rats of Hamelin behind him. Pied Piper was continuously playing the flute and walked right into the sea. The rats followed him, and all of them were caught by the waves which dragged them into the sea. All the rats of Hamelin groaned. Pied Piper had got rid. Where is it? all of the rats and kept his promise. Pied Piper approached the mayor for his reward, but the mayor had changed his mind. When Pied Piper went to him, he said, "It is a wonderful task you have accomplished, but isn't 10,000 gold coins a hefty reward for a day's work? I will pay you 500 gold coins." Pied Piper looked at the mayor and then walked out. In the street, he pulled out his flute again and started playing it. This time, all the children of Hamelin started to follow him. He walked out of town and disappeared into the mountains. Children followed him. The parents of the children wept and went to the mayor and complained about the mayor was helpless. He knew that he had been dishonest with Pied Piper. Pied Piper returned to Hamelin, but children didn't accompany him. The mayor rushed to him, begging for forgiveness. Pied Piper was rewarded with his 10,000 gold coins, and he brought back all the children. Ayan na, wala na siya. It's already spoiled. Yes. Buksan mo, papasukin ako, bulaklak para. Please put it outside. I'm going to wash later. So, hello everyone. Hello everyone. We have a lot of stories here, and next one would be, let's try about this. Claire, would you like to cite a story for Alex? You try this one. Which one you like? The Bambi or what? The dog and the donkey? No, you have to try. It's fine. Actually, they don't know you actually. This one, try the ugly duckling. Louder, okay?
Wala ka gwapa.
Of course.
Grabe, madam naman kayo siya karon ay. Dagan nagikinsog sa nino.
Of course. The ugly duckling.
The ugly
Lahin na
duckling.
katingog.
Louder, please.
The ugly duckling. Once there lived a duck. One day the duck gave birth to little ducklings. All the eggs hatched and little ducklings came out of them. But one egg did not hatch for a few days. After a few days, the remaining egg hatched and came out and came a gray, ugly duckling. The little duckling was very sad because he thought he was the ugliest among all his brothers and sisters. They would not play with him and teased the poor ugly duckling. One day, he saw his reflection in the water and cried, "Nobody likes me. I am so ugly." He
Oh,
felt
no.
so depressed, but he decided to leave home and went far away into the woods. Deep in the forest, he saw a cottage in which there lived an old woman, her hen and her cat. The duckling stayed with them for some time, but he was unhappy there and soon left. When winter set in, the poor duckling almost froze to death. A peasant took him home to his wife and children. The poor duckling was terrified of the children and escaped. The ugly duckling spent the winter in a marshy pond. Finally, the spring arrived. One day, the duckling saw a beautiful swan swimming in the pond and fell in love with her. But then he remembered how everyone made fun of him as he was ugly. So he bent his head down in shame. But when he saw his own reflection in the water, he was astonished. He could not believe the sight. He was not an ugly duckling anymore, but a handsome young swan. Now he knew why he had looked different from his brother and sisters. They were ducklings, but I was a baby swan, he said to himself. He married the beautiful swan and lived happily ever after.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that wonderful story of the ugly duckling. The next one we're going to read is about the Little Mermaid. There was a little mermaid who lived in an underwater kingdom. She lived with her father and her 5 older sisters, which of whom had been born 1 year apart. When the mermaid turned 15, she swam to the surface for the first time to glimpse the world above. There she saw a birthday celebration being held on a ship in honor of a handsome prince and fell in love with him for a safe distance. Soon a violent storm hit the ship, and the little mermaid saved the prince from drowning. She took him unconscious to the shore near a temple. Here she waited until a young girl from the temple came and took the prince to the palace. The little mermaid missed the prince and wanted to be with him. Longing for the prince, she visited the sea witch and took a potion that gave her human legs in exchange for her tongue. The sea witch warned that once she becomes a human, she will never be able to return to the sea. The little mermaid drank the potion and went to the prince. The prince was mesmerized by her beauty and grace, even though she was dumb and mute. He loved to watch her dance and they became good friends. One day, the little mermaid got to know that the prince is getting married to someone else. Her heart broke and she went back to the sea. There she told her sisters about the incident. Her sisters went to the witch and gave their long hairs in exchange of a knife. They gave the knife to the little mermaid. She took the knife and went to the prince to kill him. She tried, but she could not do so as she loved him a lot. Then she came back to the sea and killed herself. With this, the fairies from the heaven came and took her with themselves. That's the end of the story of the Little Mermaid. What else, Chodes? Rapunzel. Okay, Rapunzel. Yes, of course.
Rapunzel. Once upon a time, a couple was going to have a baby. After a few days, the wife was ill. She was not eating anything, but she wanted to eat a herb named Rapunzel. The husband loved his wife very much and went into the garden. He plucked the herb and soon a wicked witch came in front of him and said, "You thief, how dare you enter my garden?" The husband told her about the illness of her wife and their baby. The witch asked him to give her the baby after she was born in return of the herb. He agreed and went home. The wife ate the herb and recovered. After a few days, a beautiful baby girl was born. So the witch came and took away the baby. She named the baby as Rapunzel. Rapunzel grew very beautiful with pretty eyes, a sweet voice, and long golden hair. The witch left her in a high tower with no doors and stairs. Only the witch could climb up the tower. All day long, Rapunzel sing and weep. The wicked witch every day came to the tower with food. She stood at the bottom of the tower and shouted, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down." Then Rapunzel dropped her long golden braided hair and the witch climbed up the tower. One day, a handsome prince passing by the walls or by the tower heard Rapunzel's song and fell in love with her voice. He came there every day to hear her sing. One day, he saw the witch climbing up the tower, so he also tried to climb up in the same way. But the witch saw the prince and Rapunzel in the tower. She became angry and pushed the prince into a thorny bush, and he became blind. Then she cut Rapunzel's hair and sent her into the desert far away. The blind prince wandered alone and finally reached the desert. Rapunzel was also living in the same desert. When Rapunzel saw the prince, the tears of happiness rolled down and fell on the eyes of the prince. Now he could see, and they lived happily ever after in the kingdom of the prince.
Thank you so much, dear. Wow. The next one is Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, there lived the king and queen. After many years of their marriage, the queen gave birth to a lovely, sweet girl. The king and the queen were very happy. The king announced a grand celebration in the kingdom. He asked his servants to invite everyone for the feast. The king's servants forgot to invite an old fairy. In the evening, the whole kingdom and all the good fairies came and blessed the baby girl. But when the old fairy got to know about the celebration, she got angry as she was not invited. She went to the king's palace and cursed the baby. When the baby will be 16 years old, she will touch a spindle and die. The king and the queen became sad with this curse, and they begged the old fairy to take her words back. But she refused to take her words back and went away. The king and the queen begged the good fairies, "Please help us. We don't want our daughter to die so soon." The good fairies felt pity on them and said, "We cannot undo the spell, but we can make it different. When your child will touch the spindle, she will fall asleep for 100 years. Then a prince will come and wake her up." The king and the queen were relieved. After this, the king ordered everyone in the kingdom not to spin, so that the princess would never touch a spindle. Everyone in the kingdom accepted the orders of their kind king. As the princess grew up, she became a kind girl. She helped everyone in the kingdom. Everyone loved her a lot. One day, when she was 16 years old, she went into the forest. She walked and saw a cottage. She went inside and saw an old lady spinning. The princess was surprised to see the spindle as she had never seen it before. She asked the lady, "What is this?" The old lady said, "This is a spindle." The princess asked, "May I try it?" The old lady felt that she was a kind girl, so she allowed her to spin. The princess got happy and she came to the spindle. As soon as the princess touched the spindle, she fell asleep due to the curse of the old fairy. The old lady got worried. She took the princess to the palace. Where is it? When the king and the queen saw her daughter asleep, she got to know the old fairy's curse had fallen on her. She laid her on the bed in her bedroom. Then the king asked her servants to call the good fairies. The good fairies came and casted a spell over the whole kingdom. With the spell, The whole kingdom fell asleep for 100 years. After this, the good fairies went away. Years and years passed, and everyone stayed asleep till 100 years were completed. That is too much. Oh my gosh. After 100 years, a prince came to the forest near the kingdom with his servants. While roaming in the forest, he was separated by his servants. Then he walked alone and reached the sleeping kingdom. There he saw that everyone was asleep and he felt weird. Then he saw the palace and went inside it. There he saw the king, the queen, and the servants asleep. He went forward and saw the princess sleeping in her bedroom. He fell in love with her at first sight, so he went inside her bedroom and kissed her. As soon as he kissed her, she woke up. Slowly, everyone else in the kingdom also woke up. The princess asked the prince, "Who are you?" The prince said, "I'm a prince." Meanwhile, the king and the queen came running to see their daughter. They saw the prince and thanked him for saving their daughter's life. The prince asked the princess' hand from the king and the queen. The princess also fell in love with the prince, so her parents accepted the proposal of the prince. The prince and the princess got married. Everyone came to the marriage to bless the couple. Then the prince rode away with his bride to his kingdom. And that's the end of the story of the Sleeping Beauty. The moral of the story is that we should be kind and we would get rewarded in the end. The king and the queen were so much indulged in the happiness of the birth of their baby that they forgot to invite the old fairy. Hence, they had to suffer. But the good fairies helped the king because of his kindness. So always remember to be kind and not harm others. Kindness always brings rewards in the end. Ako ang kawawang cowboy. Ang bubblegum ko'y champoy. Pananghalian ko ay laging kamuting kahoy. Ang ate ko at ang lola, ang nanay, tatay at kuya. Ay, baliktad. Ang ate ko at ang kuya, ang nanay, tatay at lola, ang buong pamilya. Intermission pa man eh. Silang lahat ay hindi cowboy. Ako'y nag-iisang palaboy. Ang aking what's to? Ang aking dalang... wait, klaro eh. Ako'y nag-iisang palaboy. Ang aking kabayong dala, may butones pa. Ang kawawang cowboy. May baril, walang bala. May bulsa, wala naman pera. Ako nga ang cowboy. Oh. Hawin na kayong hands. I love you, Alex. My sweet, sweet Alex. You make me happy when I am sad. I always have you inside my heart. When I am with you, I feel so happy.
Support.
Claire, can you please
Range.
arrange that one because It's too heavy now. Wala. Okay. Please put the swaddle. Thank you so much. Now we're going to end the ang kanta taon niya.